You're listening to Living in Spain podcasts with David Wright.
Hi guys, my name's David Wright and today we're going to be talking about doing work on your property in Spain. Okay, so not many people know that if you buy a place in Spain and you want to do some improvements on it, any sort of improvements, and we all do a few bits and pieces to our properties here, that you need permission and a license to do any work, even the smallest of jobs here in Spain. There's two building licenses here in Spain. One is the Obra Mayor, and this is a works license for small building works, basically things like doing work on your kitchen, some tiling, other little jobs around the house. This is the minor works license. The other one is Obra Mayor, the large building works license. This refers to major works such as building a swimming pool, extending your property, putting in new doors and windows, things like that. Major structural work or anything structural at all, and anything that's permanent. So many of these jobs, you also need the local architect to come and draw up plans for this and permission from the town hall for this as well. So there's the two main forms of licenses here in Spain. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that do work on their property and people that get people to do work on their properties, like Joe from down the road or the local mate from the pub. And these people are not registered. They're not legal here, or they say they've got a license for it and they actually haven't got a license. And the first thing is, these people need to be registered here and legal to work in Spain. If not, you can be fined €20,000 for each illegal worker working on your house. Now, that's not the person working on your house, that is you. You're the owner of the property, so you're responsible to make sure their paperwork is in order and up to date. So getting your mate from down the pub to do a few jobs sounds like a good idea and it's probably cheap, but in the long run, is it really worth it? Especially if they're not legal here. So 20 grand fine for each worker. So imagine if he brings a couple of mates with him to give him a hand, lift that new boiler in for you or put that new door on. You know, you're going to get a bill for 20 grand for each person if you get caught. And believe me, they are very hot on it here at the moment. So remember, it's the owner's responsibility and the owner is the one that's going to get fined. They will get fined as well, but the owner will be the one responsible. There's a new land law here for 2001 which establishes new sanctions according to serious infringements for building works, major works and minor works. If you undertake any unauthorised or unlicensed work, you will have committed a serious infraction of these rules and liable to face fines from €30,000 up to €600,000. Now, if you're renovating or demolishing an older property, this property might have been listed with your council as protected under the Listed Buildings Act. So this is where it starts to get complicated. Any demolition work or alterations to that, you can be fined double the value that has been destroyed. Double the value. And they put a lot of value on these old buildings, guys, so you've got to be very careful. So also, you also need to pay taxes on any works that you do to your home here, and that can be from 2% normally to 6 or 8% of the total cost of the works that you are doing. Now, if you're doing major works, the charges, the description of the property will be shown at the land registry. Then this should also be recorded with the proper authorities there. The property's title deeds needs to be changed to the land registry and at the cadastral registry as well. These are alterations that you do need to be registered. For example, the addition of a new swimming pool, or building of an extension, any alterations that have changed the size of the property and the value of the property is considered in this. And also, if you go in to sell the property on later on in time, or you bequeath it to one of your relatives, then this can cause major problems if the works that you've done on that property are not legally registered in the deeds, the land registry office and the cadastral registry here in Spain. So these are things you need to be very careful of, guys. Most times it's okay to do small works here, like decorating jobs. You just need to pay a small fine of around €30, or sometimes they even say it's free to do it. They don't ask you for any money for the license if it's a few small minor jobs. One job I did here for a client was building a small garden wall, 2-foot high wall, at the end of his garden, and the building licence for that was just €35. Now, I paid the €35, I added it to the bill, he was happy, I was happy, and at the time he was having some issues with his neighbours, so this protected us both from any comeback we ever would have from the neighbours, and €35, it's peace of mind all round. So, really guys, why bother? You can get away with it here, yeah, but is it really worth it? You've moved to Spain, setting up a new life here. You don't want to start attracting problems. So don't make it difficult for yourself, and just ask and get the proper licenses to start with. They will find you. You maybe think, well, I live in the middle of nowhere. Nobody's going to see what I do. No one's going to know. How they're going to know? I have seen local authorities here over the years out with drones now. They have got these drones, like everyone. There's a new phase here with drones. The police have got them everywhere. But the council officers are now using them. And I've even seen the council officers out on horseback with binoculars in rural areas, checking on properties to see if it coincides with what they got on their handheld laptops they carry with them now, and check to see if there's planning permission and extensions and stuff like that. Have they got a swimming pool? Have they got an outbuilding there? Is that on their deeds? And then a couple of weeks later you get a letter from them saying they want to see the permission you've had. And if you haven't got permission for it, they can ask you to knock it down. You can get fined, or both. It's no good saying, well, okay, well, can I get permission now? No, they get very arsy about it once you've already built it without asking them. So, you've got to be very careful on this. A few years ago, I was looking to buy a property here, and I went to my local planning officer, the local council offices here. It's free, anyone can do this. I've made several videos about it. And I went in to ask him about some of the property that I was buying. There were some buildings on there that I wanted to knock down. And the guy said, let's have a look. And he opens up his computer on his desk, and he got this GPS program, typed in the address of the property we were going to buy, turned the screen round to me, and there's a satellite picture of the property, and a really good, up-to-date satellite picture. He checked with his book on the deeds of the property to see what was there. He could see everything that was there, and everything was okay. Now, these are live images of the property, so they can see everything from anywhere, guys. So don't think you can hide from these people. They are quite up-to-date now here in Spain. One of my friends here built a small wall with a garden gate at the bottom of his drive. Now, this guy has a big plot of land in the countryside here, and his neighbours are a long way from him, really. He's not really got on with his neighbours very well for quite some time. He didn't speak to them at all. And his neighbours saw that he had a skip at the end of the road. The skip was only there for a week, and they called the authorities. They came knocking on him one morning, asked to see the licence for the work that he was doing there, and they asked to see, what his permissions were and that. And, of course, he couldn't give it to him. He didn't have any permissions. So they issued him there and then on the spot with a letter saying that he had 7 days to take it down, or he will be fined, and they will take it down, and he will pay the costs and the fine. Costs for taking the wall down, putting it back to as it was, and the fine. So he shook his head and said he was sorry. He's been a bad boy and that. Can he now, how does he go about getting permission for that? And they looked at him and they said, well, now you've done that, it's very unlikely that they're going to let you have permission because you've done it illegally in the first place. But you can apply, once it's all taken down, you can apply for it. But there's a what they call a black mark on the property now. They've marked it there as this person is doing illegal work on it. So, probably for the case of 50 or 60 euros, he could have got a license to do that. Now he's got all sorts of problems. So, guys, there's ways around this without bringing on the problems yourself. I would say go and ask your normal local architect, somebody that has been recommended to you. They probably won't charge you for the first consultation. Just tell them, be upfront with them, tell them what you're thinking of doing, and they give you a heads up on what you have to pay, or if it needs an architect's permission or not. Just to give you an idea. The taxes you pay, if you're just like tiling a bathroom or something like that, you're talking about a small percentage. So, you're talking about under €100 to refurbish a bathroom for the license and the taxes and everything, way under €100. If it's a small bathroom, then even less, and probably next to nothing. But at least you got the license. If it's bigger properties, bigger extensions, then it can go into several thousands. To give you an idea, I'm building on a 800 square metre plot of land. I'm building a 235 square metre house. Now, this is a brand new house, and the taxes for the licence, the taxes and the licence was €11,000. €11,000. And you have to pay this before you start work. We had to present all the paperwork, all the document, the architect's plans, engineering plans, even had to have a health and safety plan, and we're near the airport, 5 kilometres away, so we had to have approval from them as well. And when you present all these documents to the council, they give you a piece of paper. You go to your bank, you pay a direct payment, and then you come back with proof that you've paid the tax and the licence, and then you're allowed to carry on to start work once you've got the licence. And by the way, this takes 6 months on new building works or major building works. But if you go to your local council and it's a minor works, you're asking for a minor works licence, they'll tell you what you need. If it's a minor works licence, they issue it to you there and then. The council officer can write it out. It's quite simple, quite basic piece of paper. It just looks like a parking ticket actually, and it's a receipt of your payment, and it includes the taxes, and you walk out of the office there and then with the licence. Not many people ask for this here in Spain. As I say, a lot of people do try and get away with it, and most of them do get away with it, but you've got to remember, if your neighbour sees you doing any kind of work, no matter how well you get on with them, some people can be right nosy people and quite funny about you doing any work on your own property, and they want to drop you in it at the first chance they get. So for the sake of 35, 40 euros, guys, just do it right and save yourself a lot of time and trouble. So I hope this has helped. There's a video I've done about buying property here in Spain where you can go and check on property before you've bought it or when you've bought it with your land registry office, to see what's there and what is right and what is legal or not legal, and what you can do about it. And all this is free, and I've done a video on this. I'll post a link to that video in the bottom of this podcast. So if you've liked this podcast, guys, you've learned anything at all from this, if it's been of value, please just leave a like on the podcast, and thanks very much for listening.
If you have enjoyed this podcast by David Wright, then you will love his new books. Out now on Amazon and Kindle, packed with money-saving tips and information on living and working in Spain. Just go to livinginspainbooks.com. David also has a popular blog for expats in Spain. Come and take a look now at britishexpatsinspain.com.